Om Sadashivasamaramabham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Okay, so we saw last time him saying about if you know my this thing and all, Tattvataha you are free from birth and death, etc. Tattvataha meaning that Ishvara and you are non-different. That has to come into the picture. Otherwise, there is no understanding of Ishvara and his reality. However much you understand Ishvara, as long as you take Ishvara as separate from you, it is not complete. You have not understood the reality. Then he also gave some qualification, Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha, Akshat. Up to now, that is we saw up to the 12th verse last time. So any questions, clarifications, or shall we go ahead?
I just wanted to met Paramatma.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
Swamiji, I did have one question from
Yeah.
the last class.
yeah.
You had initially, I'm just paraphrasing something you said, where you initially used the word faith in God.
Yeah.
And then you said more than faith in God, it's actually trust in God.
Yes.
So what is the difference between faith in God versus trust in God?
See, faith is okay, but faith has certain overtones of Occidental religions. You know, it becomes an article of faith, not verified, not this thing, no. Well, trust goes a bit beyond that. Trust implies a greater confidence, a greater understanding. Whereas you can have faith without any understanding. Absolute no understanding, but you can have faith in something. And trust is something that grows. Faith also can grow, but trust also has to grow. With everything that has turned valid in your life, the trust grows in you, yeah. That's why I prefer the word trust to faith. Or
More a born out understanding.
yeah, or if you say it's an article of faith for us, maybe verified, non-verified, etc., but it's an article of faith. That means don't question it further. Whereas trust is open to questioning, no? Whether it is God or someone else, trust is open to questioning. In fact, it is with questioning and you finding that it is all fine, the trust grows. Yeah. Trust also implies that some of the things that you assumed may be wrong. About yourself and the other person, both. So it's something that you need to work on, you can work on. It's not blind. Any other questions or things are okay from what we did last time? Geeta class, okay? Yeah. Because I know some people are attending both the Geeta and the Upanishad, so we are both at different, this thing we keep it a little bit separate. Once in a way we will integrate certain things, yeah.
So Swamiji, belief will be something totally different than from trust and faith.
A belief is a conclusion that you have made before you know. Therefore, it can be subject to correction when you verify. I believe it is like this, then I went and verified, it may be right or wrong. So when you are saying you believe in something, you are saying that belief may not be true.
The doubt is there.
The doubt is always there. That's why people who have believed will always find that there will be moments in life, there will be situations in life where their belief is challenged. And people have come and told me, I don't know what to believe anymore. Yeah, correct. Because believe. Like you believe in God, that means you are open to that there may be no God. Whereas if it is understanding based, you know. Yeah. Yeah, Rohel, you have been thinking.
You mentioned about people coming up to you and saying that their belief has been challenged.
Yeah.
can't the same happen with trust as well? Like I
It can
trust
happen.
someone and
Yeah. If it's a person and all, it can happen.
okay.
If it's a person, it can happen. As far as Ishvara is concerned, the more the understanding, the better the trust.
The more the understanding, the better the trust. So
Yeah.
as you said, it's a process.
So
It's
exactly.
an
It has to grow
evolving
on you.
process.
So it is based on how well you understand Ishvara and the intricacies of the principles at work. You'll never understand completely because you don't know all the principles anyway. There are so many things waiting to be discovered still. Yeah. That's why you, as an entity, as a form, you can never understand Ishvara completely. But as a reality, you can understand him completely as non-different from you. Yeah. As consciousness, you can understand it totally. But you need, each one needs to validate that. That knowledge that I teach, or any teacher teaches, has to be validated by every student. That validation seems to take some time because we are not always completely prepared students when we learn, when we go to learn. Viveka, Vairagya, Ashat Sampati. It's all a bit, it's there, we have some, but not enough. Not enough. Yeah. I mean, how many students like Arjuna, Maitreyi, Gargi, Svetiketu and all are there? I was not like that. I know when I started studying. I know my teacher was not like that. I know his teacher was not like that. I have not met a single student who was like that afterwards, the teachers who came after me. Not one of us came with 100% this. If you had come with 100% this, Geeta over, you would have said, Nashto Moha, fine. But we didn't do that. We needed to work on it. Yeah. Because nobody comes 100% prepared. They are there only in the pages of the Upanishads, the 100% prepared students, not anywhere else. Yeah. I mean, I have not yet met anyone, okay. Would you like to meet? Yeah, I would like to meet. One student walks into the ashram when I am teaching and he can say that, oh great. But abhi tak to nahi mila. 40 years of teaching, I have not got anyone like that. 40 years of teaching in Bombay, before that Rishikesh, before that, not found anyone. Though I found some very good students, but that apart. So that is it. Okay. Then now, the next is Prasanga Vashat, because we are talking of duties, this, that, etc. And those days was a structured society. Nowadays there is no structure. Those days we are living in a more structured society, a flexible structure, but the structure was there, which is known as Varnashrama Dharma, not caste system, okay. I don't like the word caste system. Yeah. So he speaks about that. Okay, let us see what he says. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaramapi mam vidyat akartaram avyayam. Let us look at the first line first, that will take some time. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. Why is the term Varna used, not Jati? Now, Jati is also not caste. Jati is wrongly translated as caste. In Sanskrit, Jati means a group. Like here, in this class, online, offline both, there are two Jatis, men, women. Meaning what? A way of grouping. Students, teacher, a way of grouping. So, Jati is a set, a group. So, when in North India you say, आपके जात क्या है? They'll ask. मैं कुंभार हूँ. I am a potter. Vishwakarma. meaning I am a carpenter. That is not a caste. The British deliberately translated it as caste to break us up. Not why I am saying deliberately, because they had the equivalent in English, in England, as guilds. They were called guilds. Guilds of carpenters, guilds of construction workers, bricklayers. They had guilds, which they should have used the word guilds for this, because it is an association in terms of your job, your skills, your profession. So here he says, 4 varnas I have created on the basis of guna and karma. So why is the term varna important? Varna literally means color. देखा ना, Aryan Dravidian divide, black and white. Dravidian South Indians were all black. The Iranians who came in were all fair. Therefore, they divided on base of color. That's also not wrong, right. That's also not right. Because there is no Aryan invasion or migration for that matter. Genetically, this has been debunked. Scientifically, this whole Aryan invasion theory, Aryan migration theory has been debunked scientifically, but some historians continue with it, including those people who claim to love India like William Dalrymple, etc. They continue with this Aryan theory, which is wrong. The word Aryans happen to be in the Veda. There, Aryan means one who had Arjavam, one whose thought, word and deed was in harmony. Such a person was called an Arya, a person of integrity. That's how it is defined in the Veda. Not as a race, not as a race of people. Okay. Dravida meant one who is very emotional, one who will melt with love. Dravida, one who will flow with love. That's what it meant. So these were used as qualities, not as race, etc. That is all the mischief the British played. Okay. Anyway, and so varna, color. What is the color? White, red, black. Okay. White, red and black was the colors. White standing for sattva, because guna. It was based on guna and karma, he said. So guna, white, standing for sattvic people, predominantly sattvic. Now sattva, red standing for rajas, black standing for tamas. Now sattva, rajas, tamas is there in everyone, in everything. If you don't have any tamas in you, you will not be able to go to sleep. Yeah. If you won't be able to relax up, you won't be able to chill out. And the sattva, rajas, tamas in your personality also will keep changing. On a Sunday afternoon, after a nice good meal, especially a sadhya, a wedding feast, nobody, the greatest of sattvic person is not sattvic, he is tamasic, or a bandara in Rishikesh. Laddu, puri, jalebi, khalo. After that, who is sattvic? Tell me. Yeah. Half a dozen puris and sabji and dal and paneer, right? Matar paneer. And some jalebis on top of it. Who is going to be? Who is going to be sattvic? You are only ready to keel over and go to sleep. Tamas. But then they looked at predominantly what you are. Predominantly. Okay? Most of the time. So let us say you are predominantly sattvic. If you are predominantly sattvic, this next high quality will be rajas. You can't be predominantly sattvic and then have tamas to back it up. Because the order, tamas cannot come immediately after sattva. So it will be rajas. So predominantly sattvic, rajas in the second place, and enough tamas in you. This forms one group purely by your mental makeup, guna. Shankara says this, all this in his Bhashya, okay? Anyone who knows Sanskrit can go and check it up. Or check up the translations also. Okay? Rajotama abhivruddhya sattvam bhavati. After overcoming rajas and tamas, sattva is the main thing, predominantly. Such a person was called a brahmana, intellectual. Okay. Every society has them. Even if you try to make a classless society, you will have this. Intellectuals will always be there. Then, second group of people, predominantly rajasic, active, passionate, dynamic, honor driven, desire driven. Now, if rajas is in the first place, you can have either sattva or tamas backing it up. Let us say you have sattva backing it up. Second place is sattva. Third place is tamas. So, who are these people? Kshatriya, dynamic people. They can take pain. They can be ruthless in battle. But they have intellect for strategy, this, that, all that is there. It's not Gada Mazuri of just going and yelling and screaming and fighting. That's okay for Hindi movies or movies like 300. You need strategy in war. Enough sattva also has to be there. But you can't be just an armchair thinker. No, you have to be able to translate it into action, or you need a lot of rajas in you. The ability to be unflinching in the face of death. Rajas, sattva, tamas. Such people were called Kshatriyas by guna. Then you had, now rajas is first place means it can be backed by sattva or tamas. Now backed by tamas. Rajas is in the third place. So the rajasic, they are. But they are also a little bit, tamas is in the second place. No? So a little bit more self-centered, a little bit more this thing. Not that dynamic as the rajasic people are. Not that much. They are dynamic enough. Okay? But driven by profit, etc. Driven by profit, etc. Such group was called Vaishyas. Now, tamas in the first place. Next group, predominantly tamasic, so lazy, indolent, etc. Some rajas is there, and little bit sattva is also there. Why are you doing all this? Are yaar papi pet ke vaste. Such a group by guna was called Shudras. They are all by gunas. Okay. This was one division. Let us keep this guna division aside. So, in the Upanishad, etc., whenever you find a Brahmana is praised, or in any literature you find a Brahmana is praised, it is Brahmana by guna, not by janma. Janma doesn't come into the picture at all here, if you look at it. Guna and karma is talking about, not janma. How it became janma, I will tell you later. I will cover the whole gamut. So, this is by guna. So, let us keep this aside. Then let us take karma divisions. Karma division is easy to understand because every society has them. So, by karma, you chose to be a priest, an intellectual, a scholar, a professor, things like that. Academics. Brahmana by karma. You chose to get into the army, police, law enforcement. Kshatriya by karma. you chose to go into business, farming, agriculture, trade, Vaishya by karma. You said, I don't want to have all this headache. I will just serve whatever is available. You know, whatever someone else has set up a business, I will go and work for the person. Okay. Temple is there, I will work in the temple. The priest can do all the puja, etc. I will do other work. Paid ke liye, I will get some money. They are Shudras by karma. By karma. So now you have two divisions. By guna, by karma. If at all they made a mistake, it was to call both the same names. Those days it was not a mistake, now it has become a mistake. Now what is the aim of the system? The aim of the system, later on he says, Swakarmanam tam abhyakcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Following your own karma, you can achieve moksha. For that, you have to be predominantly sattvic. So now look at it. Here you have a Brahmana by karma. He is a pujari in a temple. Let us take complete. Only, not even intellectual. Pujari in a temple is called Brahmana. Now, he can be a Brahmana by karma. He can also be a Brahmana by guna. He is sattvic, saying very noble, very caring. He has got a lot of bhakti, etc. Very noble person, scholarly. He knows his subject in and out. Any nuances, etc. He knows. He knows all the rituals, he knows the kalpam, he knows the niruktam, he knows jyotisham. He studied all this. You have to study all this to become a priest, okay? You can't say, I know how to do a puja and do an arti. Whether it is birth or death or anything, you will just say Sarva Mangala Mangalya and Om Purnamada Purnamada. That is not a priest. You need to do all this. Such a person is Brahmana by karma, Brahmana by guna also. Now, Brahmana by karma is a priest. But if somebody, he is aiming now for name, fame, etc. I want to be known as the best pujari here. Okay. Yeah. He will start a blog. He will start a Facebook this. Why? I want to be known here. Come on. Brahmana by karma, Kshatriya by guna, Rajas, name, fame, etc. he wants. Okay. Or Brahmana by karma, but he will pay attention to only to those people who pay him extra, who give him more dakshina, and he will charge more dakshina for the puja, etc. Money is his focus. What does he become? Brahmana by karma, Vaishya by guna. Then, here is the thing, Brahmana by karma, lazy, indolent. अरे क्या करूँ, करना पड़ता है ना मंदिर में. You look at him only, you can make out fat, so dirtied. Hygiene levels are wanting. Brahmana by karma, Shudra by guna. So in each profession you can be like that. You can be a Kshatriya. By guna, you are a Brahmana, you are an intellectual, you are a great strategist. And you are on the path of moksha. Someone like Bhishma, Drona, etc. Karma was Kshatriya karma, but Brahmana by guna. Kshatriya by karma, Kshatriya by guna also. Rajasic act, Karna, Drishtadhyumna, all the people. Both, it matched. That's why they were great warriors also. Not that you couldn't be a Kshatriya by karma and couldn't be a great warrior because you are a Brahmana by guna. No. There is nobody who could touch Bhishma on that battlefield. And Bhishma actually went beyond that. He was a wise person. What a strategist Drona was. Or Kshatriya by karma, but Vaishya by guna. Sellswords, mercenaries, the dogs of war. Hired assassins. Kshatriya karma, but Vaishya by guna. Kshatriya by karma, Shudra by guna. All your security watchmen in your buildings, they are asleep half the time. So when I come late and I see my watchman sleeping, I play a joke on him. I take his stick away and bring it home. And next morning he is searching for a stick. Yeah. But he is smart. He will go and examine the security cameras. हाँ बाबा जी ने लेके गया. If he is smart enough. Otherwise, after half an hour, I'll go and give it to him. Yeah. I mean, come on, you are doing Kshatriya karma. Security is Kshatriya karma. But what are you? Lazy, indolent. You're sleeping on the job. I know watchkeeping is difficult. Yeah. But you have to be alert and things like that. Yeah. A Kshatriya is meant to be alert. Rajas makes you alert. Awareful. But his karma is Kshatriya karma. But his guna is Shudra guna. Tamas is lazy, indolent. Similarly, you can have a Vaishya, intellectual. I have met this person. He is helping us in our project, etc. Businessman. But wow, dharmic. Yeah. Yeah. He is setting up trusts and funds to help people. And he doesn't want any acknowledgement. No placard saying he has donated so much of money. No, he doesn't want it. Vaishya by karma, Brahmana by guna. Vaishya by karma, Kshatriya by guna. Name, fame, I want to take on. I even want to head up, influence the government. Americans are facing it now. There are a lot of Vaishyas by guna coming into the government. Vaishya by karma, sorry. But by guna they are Rajasiks, Kshatriyas. I am not saying whether it is good or not. I am just saying this is how it is happening. Or you can have Vaishyas by karma, Vaishya by guna also. Look at majority of the shopkeepers, you will find like that. They are good in business. But that laid back, अरे आप भी खाओ हम भी खाएगा थोड़ा. But when it comes to business, they are dynamic. You go to buy something, अरे साहब ये भी देख लो ना. नहीं 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 इतना, अरे देखने में क्या हर्ज है, देखो देखो. Especially if a woman goes shopping. You want one dress, they'll show you 50. So there they are dynamic enough. Or you can be a Vaishya by karma, Shudra by guna. You go into that shop. भाई साहब जरा ये मिलेगा, हाँ लेने का है, अच्छा हाँ ये ला. ये सब जरा और क्वालिटी दिखाएगा, आपको लेने के क्या है. Shudra by guna. You can have a Shudra by karma, but sattvic, noble, etc. Yeah. I've seen people like that. Yeah. Brahmana by guna, Shudra by karma, Brahmana by guna. Always helpful, caring, that. Yeah. So I remember once in this temple, someone was sweeping that steps. So I waited for him to finish sweeping, because if I step across, नहीं साहब आप जाइए ना महाराज बाबा जी, ऐसे नहीं गंदा हो जाएगा ना साहब, आप कितनों आपका टाइम बर्बाद हो जाएगा, ये तो हमारा काम ही है. Now look at this man. Shudra karma, but Brahmana by guna. Shudra karma, Kshatriya by guna, He'll become a union leader. All union leaders are like that. Shudra karma service, but team bosses, You're, what do you call? Union leaders. Kshatriya by guna. Shudra by karma, but Vaishya by guna. They'll do little work and want more money. Or Shudra by karma, Shudra by guna also. Very difficult people to deal with if you are working with. They Shudra by karma and Shudra by guna also. You can tell them 10 times, they'll do the same thing. Stop expecting them to change. Unless you can put some little bit greed into them, little bit ambition into them, then little bit rajas comes and then there is some hope. So what is the aim? Irrespective of your karma, here be a Brahmana, be Sattva Guna Pradhana. Karma doesn't matter. Everyone has to do some karma. No? That's why Krishna says later on, doing your own karma, you let your karma be a worship of Ishvara. It doesn't matter. Nowadays it's not by structured society, it is by your choice. Even those days it was by choice. Drona was a Brahmana by birth. He chose to be a Kshatriya. And one of the greatest generals on the battlefield of Mahabharata. When he surveyed the arrangement in Mahabharata, he was looking at both sides. Most of the princes have passed through his school at some time or the other. Every royal prince, it was considered an honor to have spent some time at least with Drona under his tutelage. He surveys says, okay, let me see how my students will fare in the ultimate test. That was his thinking. Then where did it become only by birth? That was in a way a degeneration, in a way a convenience. It started as a convenience. Why? What will a carpenter be by karma? A Vaishya, no? Trade. So let us say a child is born to a carpenter. By the time the child is 3 years old, he has known how to handle a hammer and chisel. By the time the child is 10-year-old, he is a good workman. By the time the child is 20, he is an artist. He can work wonders with that hammer and chisel. By the time the child is 40, oh my God, don't even ask, he is creating works of art. Can you see the advantage? A child born to a priest. Time 5 years old, 6-year-old is chanting the Veda here. We are struggling to chant. How many people in the ashram can learn to chant properly? They struggle. Aarti bolne ko struggle karta hai, no? Why? Because I also struggled. Yeah. I was an intellectual all right, but I had a lot of Kshatriya qualities. I was Kshatriya born and bred. Yeah. So I didn't grow up hearing priestly chantings. No. So this kid is by 5-6 years mastered all the general things he has mastered. He started his studies of the Veda. Yeah. By the time he is 10, he can do all the simple pujas. By the time he is 18, he is a great priest. He has done a lot of meditation out of this, all that thing he has done. He has had that manobhalam, everything is there. By the time he is 40, he is an acharya who is creating other priests. Wow. So can you see the advantage of following the same profession? Kshatriyas. By the time he is 5-6, he knows how to use all the smaller weapons he knows. They won't give him a sword in his hand, but the stick and the wooden sword, etc. Have you seen that movie, The Last Samurai? Those kids, 10-year-old kids, they're so good in fighting with that stick and so strong and powerful. By the time he is 18, he is a seasoned warrior. By the time he is 18, he is a seasoned warrior. By 40, if he survives, he is a veteran. If he survives, okay, important. 18 baras to Kshatriya Jeevan. Your first battle you will face at 18. If you survive that, then you will become a veteran. At 40, you are a veteran. You are a master craftsman. So, this was the advantage. So, seeing the advantage, people started following it. After some time, it became rigid and said only by birth. That was when the degeneration started. It started 300, 400 years back with foreign invasions, etc. Because the foreigners, especially the British, were very smart. Brahmanas were intellectual. They were used to learning. They closed down the Gurukulas first thing. 1837. They closed down the Gurukulas and started putting into English education. So the Brahmanas gravitated to that. And they started feeling superior. So now Brahmanas are superior. Shudras are outcasts. Shudra was never an outcast. Outcasts were Mlechas. The Britisher was actually considered Mlecha, outcast. Veda Bahya. They were outside the Veda, pale of the Veda. But we started using that term for the Shudra. Can you see how the degeneration started? Every Brahmana here better understand this properly, what happened to you. This is how the degeneration came. Then politics, the reverse thing started. The Kshatriyas, upper caste, have exploited the Shudras and the lower caste, the Dalits. Really? Outcasts, because outcasts are people who are Veda Bahya, outside the Vedas. So, people from other cultures who did not accept the Veda, we considered them outcasts. Because you are not even accepting, outcast was not a negative term, they are Veda Bahya, outside the Veda. Then it became like this. Tell me, did the upper caste exploit? Did the Kshatriya send the Shudra to fight, or he sent his son to fight? Who fought the battles? The Dalits and the Shudras or the Kshatriyas? In modern this thing, yeah, the people who are not capable of studies are drafted into the army and sent to fight. The draft in US, for example. If you don't make the grade in terms of your academic abilities, you are drafted in, isn't it? Israel, it is different. Israel, everyone is drafted in for 2 years of service. India, the Kshatriyas led the battle. Brahmanas gave you the strategy, the intellectual leadership. The Kshatriyas fought and died, protecting the Vaishya and the Shudra. So how can you see the upper caste exploited? All the exploitation started after the British. Yes, there was exploitation after that. The Brahmanas did consider themselves superior after that. It did consider, it is true. After the British advent, the Brahmanas, even now they consider. Some Brahmanas more than others. They did. That happened after that. Which is true. We can't deny that. We can't deny that hard reality. We have to accept that and correct it. That doesn't mean whatever the DMK is saying is right. Shankaracharya's time there was no caste discussion. Somebody has asked a question. Shankaracharya's time there was no caste distinction. That Manisha Panchakam is presented as a caste. There is a story of Shankara which is presented as caste discrimination by again vested interests. There is a story that Shankara was coming after a bath when an outcast, a hunter or something, a lower caste person, came in front of him. So the student said, Gacha Gacha iti, please make way. Why? Because there is a system that even now it is followed called Madi. That when you have a bath and you are going for puja in the temple, you will not touch somebody who has not had a bath. It is a simple discipline called Madi. In South it is there. In North also I have seen people doing it, but I don't know what it is called in the North. If anyone knows what it is called in the North, please tell me. This is called muddy. So for the sake of the muddy, is it? Okay. So then there is a discussion between that person and Shankara. And Shankara said such a person is not an outcast, such a person belongs to the lineage of gurus. Sa guru iti asmakam matam. Not asmakam guru. Sa guru iti, he belongs to the line of gurus. He is not an outcast. So that was not caste discrimination. That was more in terms of functioning of muddy. Yeah, it's important to understand this. Otherwise, that is presented as, oh, caste discrimination was there. Shankaracharya also had caste discrimination. There are some films made like this about Shankara's life, and they say this. And then he had to gain wisdom. Shankara still had ignorance. He had to gain wisdom. So Shiva came in the form of a mlecha. Nonsense. That is cinematic nonsense. Tell me which movie in India ever praises Hinduism or presents Hinduism in a proper light. If you are a terrorist, you have to be a Hindu. They won't call him Hindu, but they'll put a big tilak on his head. Subliminal messages. So see what has gone into your mind. These subliminal messages have gone. Every criminal, every this thing is shown with some tika, this, that, etc. I have interacted with Chambal dacoits. They don't all wear tikas and things like that, like how it is shown in Hindi movies. I was going to Rishikesh once, and I had gone to Gwalior, this, that, etc. and I was going by bus. So I was waiting for my bus. It was in the Chambal area. Waiting for a bus, and say 3, 4, 50 characters came around. Babaji, kaha ja raha hai? Rishikesh. I immediately recognized them for what they were. There's a certain air about them which you can recognize. He said Rishikesh, not Rishikesh. Rishikesh is the local way of putting it. The locals in Rishikesh will call it like that. Rishikesh जा रहा है. अच्छा, लेकिन आप वहाँ का तो नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं, हम तो मुंबई से आ रहा है. ऋषिकेश में किधर जा रहा है? झाड़ी पर गुरुजी का आश्रम है. अच्छा, माल है. So I took my small backpack ahead. देख लो, ले लो क्या चाहिए उससे. ले लो क्या चाहिए. Actually, I had some funds for the ashram. But I just put it, I said, ले लो. देख लो, ले लो क्या चाहिए. आप तो सच्चा बाबा जी दिखते. Then he called भाई 4 चाल है ना, सब लोग को बाबा जी को भी चाहिए. मलय मार के. So he sat down, had a discussion. I talked about them with them because it took some time for the bus to come. None of them are wearing big tikas and things like that. They don't want to exhibit all these. Yeah. So all this is subliminal messages that has gone into our minds thanks to Hindi films and the social media and everything. But that's why I went about, even I had the same belief systems. But then I examined it. I examined my belief system. I examined in the light of history, sociology, not by Western authors. Yeah. By what the Dharma Shastra says, by what this says, everything. Like for example, we blame Manu, etc. for all the problems that women are facing. No? Do you know in Manu Dharma Shastra? In fact, Manu Dharma Shastra very clearly states, in Kali I am not applicable. Kalau tu Parasharaha natu Manuhu. He himself says, the writer says, in Kali Yuga, don't follow me. Then why are you blaming him? He is saying, don't follow me, na? My rules are not applicable. Then why are you blaming him for what people are doing? You require a different constitution for Kali Yuga. So follow Parashara. He says that Parashara is a later writer who came much later. Parashara was Vyasa's father. Now if you look at Parashara Smriti, even Manu also it is there. Because 75% of overlap is there between Parashara and Manu. It talks about, it says marriage is sacred. So when can now discussion is about woman. Men also there is, the woman does. When can a woman remarry? There's a discussion of. Says marriage is sacred. You can't just walk away saying, I don't want to live with him. There has to be very, very good reasons. Okay? So when is it? First and foremost, if the man is dead. So that takes care of widow remarriage. Second, if he is missing in action, he has gone on a voyage and not come back for 7 years, the woman can remarry. Third, if the man is abandoned. Fourth, if the man is not of sound mental health. Fifth, if he is important and can't be treated enough. Sixth is something else, cruelty, etc. Seventh is the best. If he has gone to become a sannyasi. He has gone to become a sannyasi. I want my married life. Yeah, I still have desire for intimacy. So I have the right. Now, first 5, 6 we can understand. Now, they are all problematic areas. But what about this sacred areas? So, a man walking out to be a sannyasi was considered as good as a divorce. You didn't need a separate divorce. Nowadays, you need. Nowadays, if a married man is walking out for sannyasa, you need 2 things. You need the permission of the wife, and plus, if you want, legally, you need to take a divorce. Otherwise, the law will consider you married. But in ancient society, it wasn't considered married. No. You're freeing the wife from all her responsibilities towards you, and you're freeing yourself from all your responsibilities towards her. But she could marry again if she wanted. Why? Because she wants her life. Come on. I need a man in my life. What's wrong with that? So now who is to be blamed? Manu? Come on. Yeah, it is true that once the Gurukula system was stopped and Sanskrit learning went off, so we couldn't access our own scriptures. Mackillop was one hell of a smart man. You have to give it to him. You have to respect your adversary. He was one smart man. He knew how to colonize a country well. And the problem is, after 75 years of independence, many of our intellectuals are following the same line of thought. In fact, the first literature against colonization, etc., came from Latin American countries. Not from India. It should have come from India. We are the intellectuals. It didn't come from India. It came from Latin American countries. American writers rose the voice for Indians, actually. People like David Frawley, etc., wrote that. And now we have our own writers coming up. Dr. Raghunathan, Sai Deepak, then that couple who have written Saffron Swords, 2 books are out, some 8 books will come out now. So, this is the state of affairs. But I am digressing. We started with Chatur Varnam. So, this 4 Varnas. So, the idea is to become predominantly sattvic by a life of karma yoga, so you can understand the truth and be free from this whole caste business. So you're free from sattva, rajas, tamas. No more sattva, rajas, tamas. Why? You are the reality. Your mind is sattvic, but you are not your mind. You are the consciousness. Understand that. Yeah. You don't say, I am a sattvic person. You are a sattvic person to know the truth. But what are you? You are not a person, you are the pure consciousness. That was the idea. So when you take sannyasa, we are not brahmanas anymore after that, okay? You are not a Shudra, you are not a Kshatriya, you are not a Vaishya, you are not a Brahmana. Yeah, that's sannyasa, na? See, once you do Vedic studies, you will wear the sacred thread. But when you take sannyasa, you take out the sacred thread and put it into the grava. Why? No more. You are no more a Brahmana. That is the highest Paramahamsa sannyasins. No, but we are Dandi Swamis. You are not Paramahamsas, you are one level lower. a Dandi Swami who is a Brahmana becomes a Dandi Swami, he is actually one level lower. The Paramahamsas are supposed to be the highest level of sannyasa because they are given up the danda also. We are all given a danda when you take sannyasa. That is also thrown into the Ganga. Chalo, chhod do ye bhi. What do you stand by? Only by your knowledge. That's it. The fact you are pure consciousness, that's what you are. So, the aim is not to, an intermediary aim is to become a Brahmana by guna. But the final aim is not that. Final aim is to discover your consciousness, not a Brahmana. There is a book called Upadesha Sahasri, written by Shankaracharya. Okay? The only Prakarna Grantha which is considered authentic Shankara's work, that and Dakshinamurti Stotram, considered authentic Shankara's work. There in this thing, the student goes and tells the teacher, the teacher asks him, who are you? Says, I am a Brahmana by birth, I have done this, I have done this. Says, you are lying, you are bluffing. The teaching is you are not a Brahmana, you are not a Kshatriya. All this is a pack of nonsense. Straight. Pick up a copy of Upadesha Sahasri and read it. Those who think in Shankaracharya's time there was caste discrimination, read that work. Yeah. Straight away the teacher is saying, Shankara is writing. Yeah. So, that is the whole idea. Okay. Then he says, Tasya kartaram api mam. I am the one who has created it, he says. As Ishvara, I have created it. Because Sattva Rajas Tamas came from whom? Where? Ishvara. Okay. People are born because of whose order? Ishvara. When you form a society that requires intellectuals, warriors, teachers, business people, where does their order come from? Ishvara. So, kartaram api mam. The what is my true nature? Akartaram. He emphasizes that. Viddhi akartaram avyayam. But understand me to be akartaram. Ishvara is not a doer. It only appears to be the doer. Why? Avyayam. Really speaking, my nature is unchanging. Unchanging means pure consciousness. Because Ishvara, when he is creating, there is a change. No? Here, the change is only here. Change is not physical as far as Ishvara is concerned. It's only mental. Why? Because nothing is outside him. So all he has to do is think and it becomes. He thought and it was so. And that little bit of that power is with all of us. I crack a joke, you laugh. Laughter happens where? Because of the cognition. No? So that laughter releases some endotrophins in your brain. And the same is found in a cell on your toe also, same thing, instantaneously. So where did that endotrophin come from? Thought. Your thought created it. Your thought created matter, but only within your system. You can't create it outside. Outside creating, that's all magic tricks. Go to PC Sarkar, he would give you a Rasagulla. That's a magic trick. No, it's a Siddhi. Siddhis are also magic tricks only anyway. What's the big thing about a Siddhi? Yeah. But with thought, you are creating matter in your system. Ishvara's body is for the whole universe. Therefore, all he requires is thought. So, as Ishvara level, you can say, oh, kartaram. Really speaking, akartaram. My true nature is akartaram avyayam. I am the pure consciousness, doing nothing, causing nothing. At the same time, I seem to have made the caste system, everything, all that thing. I seem to have made. Caste system, varnashrama dharmas. Don't use the word caste from now on. Use varnashrama, that's the right one. Caste is an imposition of colonial thinking. Yeah. There are 18 castes in India. There were 18 guilds in India. not 18 castes. 18 guilds were there. If you go to Kerala, you will find even among the Brahmanas there are divisions. There is a Nambudri. Thiri is based on the Thiri. He puts the wick of the lamp, meaning he is the one who is doing the puja. Then there is a warrior who is making the garlands. That is a profession. He became a garland maker and garland seller. Can you see how there also the divisions came among the Brahmanas because of this? Profession wise it became. Job wise it became divisions. You will find the division in the army, modern army also, no? Would you not find it? Cavalry, infantry, sappers. One of the bravest, most courageous men I have ever known in my life was a sapper in the army. After the Rishikesh camp, I am going to spend one night with him in Delhi. Major General Suri. Engineers, sappers. Inspiring figure. I hope he lasts. He is 90 plus. Okay. So what I am trying to say is, hey, these are all labor divisions. Necessary everywhere. These are not castes. Varna and ashrama. Ashrama, here he has not covered it. It says only Chatur Varnim. Yeah. Ashrama is your stage in life. Student, householder, most productive phase, retiree, consultant, and sannyasi, end. Best retirement plan in the world. By the end of your life, everyone is supposed to be a sannyasi. Yeah. So, that is the plan. And you are allowed to skip stages. The Shastra allows you to skip stages. Now, retirement, etc., I don't want. After I finish work, I will straight away go to sannyasa. Fine. I don't want grahastha also. I will straight away go to sannyasa. Okay. If you are ready for it, the Guru feels you are ready, fine. Not otherwise. Okay. Don't say the Guru is biased if he thinks you are not ready. He is supposed to know better. Whether he knows or not, you can debate, that's okay. But the Guru calls the shots anyway for that. So that's how the whole Chatur Varnam has come. The source of knowledge, the source of creation, and no difference in that. Where is the problem? Making it into a caste was human problem. Chatur Varnam was not a problem. We degenerated into a caste system, that's our problem. And let us not say no to that. Caste couple of 100 years, it has been a problem. It is slowly going out. Now in India, modern India, it's slowly going out. But there are pockets of it still there, and we should try to eliminate those pockets also. Yeah, Karthik, you have a question.
Swamiji, even in the ashrama,
Yeah.
so when I start out initially, I have very little knowledge as a brahmachari, so it's like more tamoguna pradhana.
If you are looking at like that as knowledge, but when you are looking at sattva, rajas, tamas, it's your quality also. Capacity to learn also is into it.
Okay.
Yeah. You may be ignorant, but you may have a high learning mind.
Right.
And all children have that.
Yes.
In fact, if you want to have a good learning and really a good learning mind, get in touch with the child in you when you are learning. Be like childlike in your learning. You will learn like this. Don't be conscious about what you are, your age and your precision. And no, be childlike. You will learn. Yeah. And you will retain also much more. Because how much do kids retain? We struggle as adults to learn, but children don't have a problem. The problem is only to get them to sit down and learn. Because their minds are active, minds will run all over the place. Yeah. Be childlike in your learning. So, that is it. Then the whole thing is taken care of. Yeah.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
Neera here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Swamiji, when you said that outcast was somebody outside the Vedas, you
Yeah.
mean not exposed to the Vedas?
Not exposed or consciously remaining away. Either didn't get a chance, therefore were outcasts, or even if they are exposed, consciously chose to remain away. They were called outcasts, they were called mlechas. As they were given a label, a name, so that you knew how to deal with that. It is not judgmental. But label definitely was there. Yeah. But that label we put in modern society also, no? Some labels we are proud of. I'm a doctor. It's a label. We don't say that's a judgment. It's a judgment actually. It can be a judgment or it can be a label, how you take it. In fact, some of the Kauravas would refer to Drona in a judgmental fashion. Vijaha. What is the Brahmana doing on the battlefield? Forgetting that he was a great warrior, much better than that. But they use the term Dvija. If you read the original Mahabharata, it is there. What is that Dvija doing in the battlefield? Because they find it difficult to counter his strategies. Yeah.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
if Veda Bhashya people are called as outcasts, would that include the Buddhists and the Jains and all? Like,
Yeah,
in a
but
way?
the Buddhist was respected for his learning. They rejected the Veda in a way, but they also had some understanding of the Veda. No? So all the Shat Darshanas, which are Astika or Nastika, Nastika two Darshanas, Jainism and Buddhism, they were also accepted as intellectuals and things like that. Because they were intellectuals. No, you didn't. Even though they are Veda Bhakya. Yeah. But they did it as an intellectual exercise. So they accepted that. Yeah.
Swamiji, why did the Buddha feel the need to reject the Vedas, Swamiji?
Certain things he must have found distasteful. You can't relate to, everyone cannot relate to everything in the Veda, nor they have to do everything in the Veda. Yeah. Plus, Buddha found that there were very few people willing to teach him, take him in the ashram and teach him. Plus, he also found it difficult. Naturally, as a king goes to an ashram, the ashram will become what? Media circus. There was a debate among us. Swamiji's 10th anniversary, this 23rd of September will be Swamiji's. Should we call Modi or should we not call him? If he calls him big headache, protocol, security, this, that, etc. Can you see? So if Buddha is going to go and join an ashram, a problem. Media circus will become. So many teachers kept him out also. Siddhartha become a problem. So he could come, go to different teachers and learn. He did it like that. Yeah. Modi ji joins an ashram after retirement also will be a problem. Yeah, for the ashram it will be only something like the akhadas or something will be able to handle that crowd and this they'll come. Yeah. Which he may also, you don't know. Okay. So good place to stop. Okay. Om Tat Sat.